Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. Today we are talking about how to release attachment to outcome. We're going to cover what your mindset around outcome has to do with how it is you are showing up for your creation and manifestation processes. We're going to talk about the biggest reason we find ourselves in that stuck, grasping, reaching, what some people might call lack-based place, right? Because that doesn't feel good and no one wants to create or manifest or make moves on their dreams from that space, right? So the biggest reason why we find ourselves there, this skill you need to cultivate in order to release attachment to outcome, right? And then a small shift that will totally transform the way it is you show up for your desires and dreams and your manifesting and creating processes. And then one of the most important decisions you can make as a creatrix with a soul vision, with a dream, with a goal, and how that changes everything about how it is you manage your energy and play with growth mindset, okay? Okay, so firstly, what is attachment, right? We talk about this if you're familiar with, manifestation processes, right? Or if you're someone who, right, I cater to creatrixes, right? People who have a vision, who have goals, who have dreams, high performers, high achievers, soulpreneurs. So people that have a vision, that are here to step into that are here to create that, right? And so when it comes to manifesting or creating, we all know that space. This is what some people call like lack-based space, where we're manifesting and creating from that reachy, graspy, grabby, like that yearning place, right? That yearning of the desire. I want it so badly, but it feels so far away, right? So what happens, the biggest reason we find ourselves in that space, right, is because we're waiting for the outcome, right? We're waiting for the result. We're waiting for the thing, whatever it is we're working towards or manifesting or creating, to prove to us that we can have or feel or be a certain kind of way, or a certain, right? We're waiting for the outcome or the result to prove to us that we can be a certain kind of person, or that we can feel a certain kind of way, happy, successful, satisfied, joyful, whatever it is for you, right? We're waiting for that outcome or result to prove to us that we can have that experience of self, right? And so what happens is when we start feeling ourselves slip into that space, what often happens is we start holding off on all of those experiences of the joy, the satisfaction, right? We create these associations. Like if I can have once I have the goal, once I have the outcome or the result, then I'll finally be able to think the thoughts I want to think and feel the way I want to feel, satisfied, happy, successful, whatever it is for you in your particular vision, situation, or circumstance, right? We create those associations. But what happens is when we start slipping into that attachment space, that lack-based space, is we, without even realizing it, start reinforcing that belief that that the result is going to give us that thing. Whereas the outcome, the result, the thing we're working towards, it is one pathway to feeling all of those things. It is one pathway to being the person you want to be. It is one pathway to having the experience of self that you're looking for, that you're desiring, but it's not the only way, right? And for whatever reason, when we fall into that space, we start reinforcing it. Unless we've consciously built habits around not reinforcing it, what tends to happen is we start to reinforce it by holding off on our joy, our happiness, our success, the thoughts we want to think, the feelings we want to have, until we meet the goal, right? We start depriving ourselves of joy. We start depriving ourselves of pleasure. We start depriving ourselves of really basic human needs, thinking that, we're not even consciously thinking this, it's a subconscious pattern, right? But thinking or associating that all of those thoughts and feels and experiences are connected to that outcome or result that we're working towards, right? And so it becomes like this downward spiral, this like sort of negative feedback loop, because we go, without even realizing it, again, this is like a subconscious thing, we start depriving ourselves of the way it is we want to feel, thinking that it's completely connected to that result, right? Again, the result, the outcome, the desired outcome is absolutely one way that you can have the experience you want to have, but it isn't the only way. And so what we want to do in order to break that cycle, in order to disrupt that negative feedback pattern of attachment, right, is to actually allow ourselves, not even allow, to prioritize feeling the way we want to feel, thinking the thoughts we want to think, and having the experience we want to have to the best of our abilities with the resources we already have, the experience that is associated with our desired result or outcome, right? So the skill we need to cultivate in order to release attachment to outcome is actually practicing holding the energy of what our desired practicing holding the energy of what it is we want to feel that we are associating to the outcome, right? Or another way to put it would be pursuing our desires and dreams in the same way we want to experience them, right? So you can think about it as it is a practice. We're practicing feeling the way we want to feel as we move towards the goal. And that's basically demonstrating to our body, to our system of consciousness, to the physical part of us that creates holding patterns, right? Because if we have a mindset or a holding pattern or a belief in our mind, in that non-tangible, non-physical space, it's going to show up in the way it is we move. It's going to show up in the body. It's going to crystallize. It's going to become a holding pattern in our physicality, in the way we move, in the way we operate, in the way we make choices and take action, right? So the skill we need to cultivate in order to release attachment to outcome is to pursue our desires and dreams in the same way we want to experience them, right? It's disrupting that pattern or that cycle of holding off from feeling the way we want to feel or thinking the way we want to think. It's disrupting that cycle of holding off from pleasure, joy, peace, success, satisfaction. It is disrupting that cycle of denying ourselves those things until we meet the goal or land the outcome or the result, right? So it's allowing ourselves to play in those experiences that we are associating with the outcome while we move towards the outcome, while we make moves on our goals, right? Does that make sense? So it becomes a practice of holding and cultivating that energy, like in your body, in your mind, in your feels. And you can think about it this way. Like if you had a goal, like this is just a really simple, silly analogy, but if you had a goal to like weight lift 200 pounds, I don't even know if that's a lot. I'm just making something up. But if you had a goal to like weight lift 200 pounds, you would have to practice lifting weights, right? To get to the 200 pounds. You would have to practice with 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, blah, 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 all the way. You're like building the muscle mass, right? But really the muscle memory, the muscle mass, like the ability for your body to lift and hold that energy. That's energetic output, right? To lift weights. It's the same way in our emotional state and our mindset. So when we are working towards a goal and we're making those associations that once I reach this goal, I'm going to feel good. I'm going to feel like I belong. I'm going to have status. I'm going to feel satisfied. I'll finally be happy. I'll finally be joyful, right? We have to literally practice building those joy muscles, those satisfaction muscles, those pleasure muscles, peace muscles while we're working towards the goal, right? If you wanted to lift 200 pounds, you couldn't just have the mindset. Like you couldn't just wake up every day and affirm, like, do your daily affirmations of I'm going to lift 200 pounds in a month, and never do like the body work, right? So it's the same thing. We're practicing creating experiences to the best of our abilities with the resources we have to feel satisfied in our daily life, to feel joyful in our daily life, to feel, whatever it is for you that your goals, the feeling states or experiences that your goals are attached to. Does that make sense? So you're literally practicing holding that in your body. You're practicing with your emotional energy, almost like it's a muscle, with your mindset as it's a muscle. Like, what are happy thoughts, right? What are thoughts that bring you joy? So it's allowing ourselves, again, to pursue our desires and dreams in the same way we want to experience them, instead of moving towards them from the I'm not enough yet. Like, I can't experience XYZ until I achieve something or accomplish something. We're actually practicing towards the, moving towards the achievement, practicing being the person that has achieved the state already, right? That's like the secret to manifesting. Okay, so so this is the skill. It's pursuing our desires and dreams in the same way we want to experience them, not depriving ourselves or holding ourselves off from the full experience until we land the result. Because it's almost like in that way, we're asking the outcome or result to prove to us that we can have the experience we want, when really it's about us learning how to navigate our own system of consciousness, our mind, our body, our spirit, our thoughts, our feels, our emotions, our mindset. And we're literally navigating it and facilitating having the experience we want to have, right? Does that make sense? So the most important decision you can make as a creatrix, as a high achiever, as someone with a vision, with goals, with big desires and dreams, is that your growth, your healing, your creating, and your manifesting, it isn't about becoming worthy of what it is you want. It's about building a different or better experience for yourself through this energy management, through understanding your mind, body, spirit complex, through understanding your system of consciousness and working with it, allowing it to process and working with it, right? Because again, that waiting for the result to prove to us that we can have a thing is almost about, it's so connected to us trying to make ourselves worthy of something, worthy of a particular experience or a desired experience. Whereas really it's just about building, creating a different or better experience of ourselves in the world, of how it is we relate to, respond, and engage our own energy, right? As far as actions, words, choices, deeds, thoughts, feels, all of these things, you see? So the small shift that will totally transform the way it is you create and manifest and go after your dreams is that this is a practice. You are practicing holding the energy of the desired experience that is associated with your goal or outcome, whatever it is for you. You're practicing holding it. That means you gotta dip your toes into it. You gotta play with it. You gotta go, okay, I have this goal and I want it because I feel like it's gonna make me feel happy, joyful, satisfied, whatever, right? Whatever that is for you. And so while I'm making moves on that goal, while I'm showing up consistently for that goal, I'm also going to indulge other activities and situations and relationships that make me feel that too. So I can feel it along the way and practice holding it along the way and practice building up my my embodied muscle memory and strength, right? So that I can hold it when it does land, when it does arrive, right? So the result isn't proof that I can have the thing I want. It is the outcome of me practicing that which it is I want. That it's the desired experience that I want, right? So that is what I have for you today. Again, the biggest reason we find ourselves in that stuck energy is in that grasping, reaching, clawing for the thing we want, that attachment energy, or that lack-based sort of manifesting space, as people call it, is because we're waiting for the outcome to prove that we can have the thing, right? And so the skill we're cultivating is practicing holding it along the way, so that by the time it gets there, it isn't about proving that we can have it, it's about demonstrating that we are it already, right? And not because we were working on being worthy, but because we decided that we could create it, because we're a creatrix, because we're soul embodied, because we're creator energy embodied, okay? So it's a practice of holding the energy, playing in the energy along the way. So that's what I have for you guys today. Short and sweet, quick and simple. Though easier said than done, always, which is why having a coach is so helpful, because when you're spinning out in these things and going, wait, like I get it conceptually, I get it, but like, what does that look like for me? How do I like practice that? How do I put that into action? Having someone to hold you accountable to your vision and your dreams and your decisions, right? That's what a coach is for. And so, you know, I'm offering free sessions, of course, so you can go book a free session if you want to talk about what this looks like for you, if you want to build an action plan, if you want to go over some of that mindset work to dig into how maybe some of these mindset beliefs are warping with your creation process. And also, the other option that's available right now is Embodied Creatrix. The doors are still open through September 4th if you want to jump in the container that's dedicated to this work, 90 days of group coaching all along this kind of stuff of pursuing our desires and dreams in the same way we want to experience them. There is still time to sneak in during this first week.